Looking for a new car or expert service? Visit Limerick Motor Centre, your main Hyundai dealer on the Ballysimon Road. A proud family business for over 30 years, we're Ireland's longest-serving Hyundai dealer. With sales, service, parts and finance all under one roof, our dedicated team delivers value, expertise and customer care you can trust. Call 061 417 141 or visit limerickmotorcentre.ie. Limerick Motor Centre, driving with you for over 30 years.
The impression again we get out with what you put into it's like a walk of life. If you're good enough, go out and get it, no more about it.
But not so much control in the centre of the field from Kilkenny as Richie Bennett sends it high and over the bar.
Your mother sends you down to the shop for a pound's worth of goods and she gives you 50 pence. You can't get the pound's worth of goods, can you?
Just about kept in. Oh, well done, Johnny Buckley. To do that to Tomas O'Shea, he deserves to score from here. One of the highlights of the Sunday game.
Limerick went out there from the word go today. No more about it. They made all the running, that was it. Put the ball over the bar and the back of it and that's it. No ifs, no buts.
Is there much time left? We have a couple of injuries. Here comes Kieran Carey. Carey leading the charge of the right brigade. 45 metres out. He's a chance to score. He's put it hard. He's put it over.
There's no sympathy in this game for anybody.
Hello and you're very welcome to episode 371 of Treaty Talk. We're here to look ahead to a very busy weekend of Gaelic games in Limerick with all four inter-county teams in action. We'll be taking a look at the footballers, the Camogie and ladies football later in the piece. But Matt, we'll start with hurling. It's a busy weekend for Limerick hurlers. Indeed, our final league game that we can be sure of. Potential, of course, for a league final to come. So another busy weekend ahead of us after, I suppose, a testing one last week on the front for Limerick sides.
Yeah, Tom, but you know, just during the week there when I was reflecting on it, how quick the leagues we've gone through the leagues, because we're finishing the hurling and the football leagues this weekend. And we're finishing the Camogie leagues. 3 out of 4 are finished this weekend. Like, where have the weeks gone? Like, they have rolled on and rolled on. Some of them not very good for Limerick now, unfortunately, and we'll be talking about them later. But you know, we seem to, where there's a hurling in hand this year, we seem to be doing okay, both in hurling and Camogie, and football and ladies football seems to be under a bit of pressure. But like how it has moved so fast, and to tell you how quick we're digging into the season, that we had the first round of the Football League in the county last weekend. We have the first round of the league in the hurling this weekend. So it's all systems go at the moment, Tom. It's a very, very, very busy period. And of course, as you rightly flagged, it's the defining period in the leagues. For many counties, I was looking down through the different divisions. For so many counties are involved in something coming up at this late stage, either involved at a fight at the top or a fight for the bottom. For instance, the Division 2 of the Football League is absolutely fascinating, where Cork are on top, but they could fall down as far as 3rd or 4th come Sunday evening if the results go a certain way. You know, that will tell you it's a fascinating finish. You have something similar in Division 1A, yeah, with Kerry going to Armagh, and you know, like, nobody can argue about the structures. And unfortunately, there are very few structures for Limerick footballers, permutations. But yeah, look, it's a fascinating time. It's a fascinating stage of the competitions. And to think like that the leagues are almost over, Tom, it's just where has time gone?
Yeah, and of course we did have the championship starting in the form of under-20 football last weekend, so they're bleeding on top of each other already at this time of year. But we'll start with hurling, Matt. We'll look at Limerick's fixture with Galway, and we're delighted to say that former Galway selector and indeed Ballybrown senior hurling manager Kevin Lally joins us to chat about this fixture. Kevin, obviously a Galway native. Galway were rolling into the Gaelic rounds, 3 wins in a row. Limerick hosting Galway, 4 wins in a row. So it, on paper, at the very least, looks to be a promising fixture at the Gaelic rounds on Saturday evening.
Yeah, it does. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, no, it looks like it's the plum fixture really that's left, isn't it? And I suppose it's essentially a league semi-final. And I suppose when you look at the other games on in Division 1 this weekend, like it's probably head and shoulders above everything else of what's going on. And Just from, I suppose, from a Galway point of view, there's definitely been encouraging signs up here in terms of some of the younger players that has been incorporated into the senior setup this year, coming off kind of last year's under-20 teams and that. They've looked really good. So yeah, very encouraging signs up here in Galway, and in terms of the younger players stepping up, and I suppose in particularly there's probably a style of play that I'd say you're going to see very evidently in the Gaelic grounds on Saturday, how we set up and play. Yeah, so it'll be even tactically, and I'm sure you're probably going to ask me about that, tactically how the two teams are going to set up. We obviously know how Limerick will set up as they always have, but Galway will bring a different challenge to, I suppose, that particular setup. But yeah, it is the makings a really good game Saturday evening. I like the Saturday evening games, and yeah, it's one every. I'd say there'll be a big crowd traveling from Galway as well. I think there's going to be a good crowd going. Yeah, because I think supporters are starting to get behind this team now, and yeah, it's a fixture that I think Galway people are looking forward to.
Yeah, it's a good trip for them in terms of an easy enough shooting as well down from Galway and Danis Road. Just before we look at tactics or anything like that and personnel, the victory over Kilkenny, I suppose a lot of the chatter out of it has been, the negativity around Kilkenny and, record defeat really for them, biggest defeat since the 50s, I think, it's been cited in some quarters. But we must credit Galway because, they go out there to score, 35 points, play some fantastic hurling, really throwing it about really, and really make Kilkenny look like an ordinary team. So there must be a huge boost of belief in what Galway are doing off the back of that result, as well as the two victories before that as well.
Yeah, I think, look, any day you beat Kilkenny is a good day, right? But the Galway, I suppose, early on in the league, our efficiency wasn't brilliant, but it's something that's definitely improved. And the last day, look, at all beat, and like we've all heard the rumours there was a book on the Kilkenny camp, etc. But I thought Galway were just very professional on their day. Again, used a lot of players, 20 players again used that day. But to hit that sort of a score against Kilkenny was very encouraging, yeah. But look, we know Galway play Kilkenny. I think it's on the 18th of April there, and that's going to be a completely different ball game. But for them to get over the line the last day, to get 2 points on the board, which was a big game for Galway, because it was a game that, you lose, you're going to go into the relegation conversation. But to go and the manner of victory and the manner how they played, and as I said, allied to that, put up a big score, it was very encouraging, yeah.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks for coming on Treaty Talk. You're very, very welcome indeed. We were just talking off air there. Galway are, as we speak, are in exactly the same position as they were at the end of the league campaign last year. 3 wins out of 5. Now, 3 wins out of 6, but were a good distance off the final last year. How important is it, first of all, that they do better this year and possibly qualify for the final, in terms of, looking at the configuration of the team and the number of young players, exciting young players, may I say, that are in the squad?
Yeah, I think it's very important. Yeah, so I suppose again, it's from a Galway perspective, it's been looked at as a league semi-final no more than yourselves. So like Galway will obviously be going down to try and win the game and get back to a final to potentially play Cork in the final, and to give that exposure for our younger players. And I'm talking Jason Rabbit, Rory Burke, all of these younger players that they're pushing to get through. Aaron Ireland, Killian Traers, Kieran Hannon, all these guys that are coming through, to give them exposure to go to Limerick on a Saturday night to play a really good, obviously really good experienced team. I think that's a brilliant test for them to coming into championship. And obviously we play a championship a week before obviously Limerick play, so to go down there and put in a really good performance would be brilliant, and then potentially pitch up in a league final. It only bodes well for your preparation for championship.
Will Micheál O'Donoghue, and you referred to it there a while ago, will he have a bit of a problem in grounding his players after that tremendous win over Kilkenny? I don't buy into the excuses that we've been hearing about this, that and the other thing. I saw the game, and the simple fact of the matter was Galway were absolutely awesome and blew Kilkenny out of the water, which Kilkenny in the past, and Kilkenny are so used to doing that in the past that the tables were really turned on them on this occasion. But Galway obviously are on a high, and the young players, will he have a bit of a problem in grounding them for this game?
No, I don't think so. I think every young player will want to pitch up against. Look, you're playing against this Limerick team that have some of the best powders in the country. So for these guys to pitch themselves up, and like you're talking about, just take Killian Traers, who's going to play full back. like the challenge to him to pick up Aaron Gillan or Shane O'Brien, like what a challenge for that guy, starting out his inter-county career. Same could be said of Rory Burke, Gavin Lee if he's fit. So there's a lot of players there that will love challenge themselves against some of the very best hurlers in the country. So I don't think so, Matt. I think they'll be really excited for it. And I'm conscious of using the word free shot here. I don't think Galway are going to go down as a free shot on this. I think they're going down quietly confident to put in a really, really good performance. So yeah, and it's essentially a league semi-final. And if you had said that to us at the start of the year that we'd rock into the last round of the championship to go down to Limerick, we'd have probably taken the hand off it, to be honest with you. So something looking forward to, and there's actually a good bit of chatter up here in the last few days, and people are excited about the fixture, and we're probably more excited just to see where are our younger players at, and can these players can they go into the ring with the Will O'Donoghues, the Keane Lynches, the Aidan O'Connors, the Shane O'Briens, the Gallans? Can they go in there? And I suppose, what does that look like? Do you know what I mean? Will they survive in that environment? That's probably the exciting thing from a Galway supporters perspective. Yeah,
Kevin.
Sorry, go on, Tom.
Yeah, Kevin, just looking at the makeup of the team, you've mentioned a lot of the younger players, like, as you said, of Killian Trayers. I know Josh Ryan is still, a young prospect. Yeah. The likes of Aaron Nyland in up front, I suppose they're trying to take on the mantle that, for so long we'd have been looking at the Mannions, the Burks, Conor Whelan and these guys. Is it refreshing to see new guys really leading the charge? It's been talked about in Limerick, of course, with 4 or 5 players that have really taking this league on. Is it similar in Galway that these guys now are putting their stamp on things?
Oh, very much so, yeah. And I think as anybody that goes to watch his games, and I suppose the very first team the Galway picked this year, I think everybody saw the team and go, oh, this look was really encouraging to see the younger players being trusted and backed. And I suppose it's one thing being picked and pushed out there, but when you're being put out there, you got to take your chance. And so far those guys have been really good. Joshua Ryan, as you said, Killian Trayers, these guys have been really good, like particularly from a defensive point of view. I hope this is not too cocky, but I think we'd always have good forwards in Galway, but defensively for the last number of years, I think we were always looking for a player or two to step through and come through. And a couple of those guys have been really good, and you're going to see probably Keane Daniels playing the midfield as well. Another young player from Tommy Larkin's club, definitely play midfield for the team. Big strapping guy, he was a 20s player last year. So there's going to be a nice sprinkling of some of the older guys in as well, in terms of, like, you're going to have, Pádraig Mannion will play. Dáithí Burke, I think, is an injured out. Cathal Mannion will play, but there is a nice sprinkling between, I suppose, some of the younger players starting out in their career, and then some of the guys that we call them the more experienced players.
Yeah, and how will they get on against the wall of Limerick? What I'm talking about is the half-back line there, where you've potentially Kyle Hayes, William O'Donoghue, Diarmuid Burns, likes of Colin Coughlin, obviously a feature there. That line for Limerick shows no sign of relenting, and it's a conundrum for teams. How do they get some change out of that line?
Yeah, and it's I was thinking about this a lot during the week, that like Limerick will obviously have played with their zone half-back line as they have done from the very get-go, but like Galway, when you look out the field the next day, and Galway will flood bodies inside their own half. At times you will see 13 to 14 players inside their own 65, Galway's own 65, and they will run the ball. So it'll be hurl through triangles, carry. There'll be a one man up top, and everybody will try and get off him in terms of get runners off him. So it's going to be very intriguing. I suppose, yes, how are we going to bypass Limerick's half-back line? But I suppose subsequently, will Limerick push up slightly on them? So there's going to be a lot going to go on tactically. Two very different setups, I suppose, is what I'd probably sum it up as. Whereas Limerick will be very zonally, will they'll hurl their positions, whereas Galway will go complete opposite. Galway will flood loads of bodies inside their own half of the field. Like, you will look out at the field the next day and there will be one guy in the Limerick half, everybody else will be in their own half of the field. Very interesting. And then they're just carry the ball. Their out ball goes to Jason Rabbit or Conor Whelan, and everybody will flood onto that in terms of runners. So it'll be very interesting tactically. Two very different contrasting styles, but it's going to be very interesting to watch and see how it unfolds.
Yeah,
Kevin, the trajectory of the team right from the start of the campaign has been all in the one direction, upwards. You're after 3 wins in a row over Offaly, Waterford and Kilkenny. But I thought there were definite signs of an emergence of a serious Galway team in the first 2 games. Now, you lost to Tipperary, as you know, probably faded a bit going down the home straight. We're unlucky against Cork now. Mind you, you're playing the 2 teams that contested last year's All-Ireland final at this stage, and an ideal opportunity to benchmark yourself, and could very easily have flipped the Cork result.
Yeah, the Cork performance was very encouraging, I have to say. And again, I think we probably came away from that going, if we could fix our efficiency in terms of, like, we got plenty of shots away, but we left a couple of frees behind us, a couple of bad wides behind us. But there was a period there in the first half we probably went 6, 7, 8 points up, but that could have gone further, to be honest. That could have gone to 10 to 12 points. Cork came out in the second half, made a couple of strong changes at half time again. But yeah, it was probably a game we felt up here that there was real encouraging signs again, wasn't there? Like that you went into the ring with all of these Cork players and you played really well. So that was very encouraging to see. The Tipperary game, the first game up, was played in really bad conditions. It probably didn't suit us in terms of the style of play, and it was our first day out. It probably didn't suit us. Not making excuses, probably didn't. But the second day, it was a better day. It was a better night for hurling. And even that night, it was probably the first time I felt that the crowd got behind Galway. If you remember, there was a bit of a rumpus going in at half time, and you could actually feel the energy from being in the back of the stand up here stadium. You could actually feel supporters getting behind the team. And I'd say if you're part of the Galway management, you'd be delighted with that, because you just felt that the team was kind of starting out on a journey, and all of a sudden the crowd are going to come with them. But yeah, even though we didn't pick up 2 wins, it was very encouraging. Yeah, that the performance levels were very encouraging.
You spoke there about Dahi Burke and the importance of the Manions. The return of Conor Whelan during the course of the campaign must be absolutely huge, especially seeing that he's inside in the full forward line with Jason Rabbit and Aaron Ireland.
Very much so, yeah. He didn't play in the first few rounds of the league, and yeah, again, it was probably left to Jason to play that inside role, that one up top role that Jason plays. But the last day that was flipped. Jason didn't play the last day. He played for ATU Freshers actually against UL actually the previous week, so he didn't play. But he came on with 10-15 minutes to go against Kilkenny. But Conor played that role. So again, that'll be interesting the weekend. It'll be very much one up top. So it'll be the one on the inside full forward line. Whether I would imagine it'll be Jason inside, and I would imagine Conor might come to the half forward line. But again, it's good to show a little bit of depth starting to build there, and then you obviously throw Aaron Ireland in there as well. Darren Erie is another guy that has been going really well. A young player from Castlegar. Coached him back in the day here with the Galway Minor. He's a really good fella, really athletic player. It suits the system that we're trying to play up here. It suits him. So he's another good young player as well to keep an eye out for.
Kevin, I put it to you that free taking has dominated the chat here in Limerick with regards to who's taking him. Obviously, you know, Aidan O'Connor has assumed that role for now at least. It's been something in Galway as well that Cathal Mannion has, I suppose, the mantle has been passed from him to Aaron Nyland. And I suppose what a vote of confidence I think he's only turning 20 this year, Aaron. He's a very, very young talent. But what a vote of confidence that, you know, he's been entrusted in that role, you know, at senior intercounty level at this part of his career.
Oh, very much so. And like, you'd forget this guy's a very young player. Like 12 months ago, he was playing in the colleges final in Croke Park. Do you know what I mean? So he's only a young player. He did his leaving cert last year in the Prez. He's in his first year in the University of Galway. But yeah, I would say he's going to be taking the free Saturday night. Cathal have been taking them up to that. Aaron's form has been really good. So yeah, it's again a little bit like Limerick. You're probably lucky. You're probably going to say, like, you have obviously Aaron Gillan, you have Aidan O'Connor, and we'd like to think that we've Aaron Ireland and Cathal Mannion, 2 really good free takers.
Yeah, and with your Limerick, I suppose, connections, as we said, Ballybrown manager, refreshing, I'm sure, and delightful to see Aidan continue that form that we saw last year. I know in Stream Sport we covered all the Ballybrown games. He's carried that form into the University of Limerick, and now he's carried it into senior intercounty with Limerick. So he's really enjoying his hurling at the moment. It's clear to see.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's in a rich vein of form, isn't he? Yeah. But the one thing I would say about Aidan, he was given the opportunity this year. Like, you could see it from the get-go that he was playing centre forward. He's going to hit the frees for Limerick. Like, it looked that way. right through from the whatever you call it, the Waterford Crystal, the Munster League, whatever it's called now. Like from the get-go, centre forward hit the freeze, and I just thought it was a brilliant vote of confidence in the player. And on the flip of that, then he was given the opportunity, but he grasped the opportunity, didn't he? It's probably no great surprise for me. I saw it firsthand the calibre of player he is, and I suppose the calibre of person he is. Through the club form last year, he was brilliant for us in the club, and he's obviously our team captain as well in the club. But he carried that right through. Like we went deep, obviously, into the championship. We went to county semi-final stage. Then he obviously kicked on with Joel through the Munster Senior League, obviously through the National League now. So yeah, look, long may it continue for Aidan. He's in a brilliant vein of form at the minute.
Kevin, Galway are a small bit of an enigma as far as I'd be concerned anyway. You had a fantastic run there of minor successes at All-Ireland level. And there seemed to be a very poor transition rate to senior. There was a very poor transition rate to under 20 and under 21. I don't think you've won it since 2011. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
You know, and here we are now with, I suppose there are 6, 7 young players that have come out of nowhere, really. They certainly they've probably played minor for Galway, but, you know, they haven't won out All-Irelands. What is the change? Or
good question. I don't know, Matt. I don't know. Like back in my time when I was at Galway with Henry for the 3 years, like we were on the back of 4 All-Ireland winning teams in a row, and we were trying to get players in off them panels. But I think it's for the last couple of years. Yeah, I think you probably saw with the Tipperary model last year with the Darren McCarthy's coming through, those Sheena O'Donoghue's coming through. I think the guys are probably really longer in, I suppose, the pipeline. I remember Gavin Lee, he came back in our time, and I remember ringing him to come in when he was doing his leaving cert. Actually, he came in, but it's like as if nearly guys are coming in now and serving an apprenticeship. They're in there for a couple of years, and then they're ready to play senior hurling. Like there's so much going on now in terms of your athletic development, and I suppose we changed our athletic development coach up here again this year. So there's probably getting guys in, getting them up to speed with your strength and conditioning and athletic development, and then seeing them kick on. But your answer to your question, look, Matt, if I had €1 for every time somebody asked me that question with regards, you know, you have loads of underage talent, why are they not coming through? Nobody really seems to know the answer up here. Guys, for a variety of reasons, drift away. Like even this year, like there's a few guys that aren't involved this year. Like it's tricky, and there would have been underage stars for minor teams and that kind of thing over the years. But it's a difficult one, yeah. But I think when you do go in there, you do need to spend 2 to 3 years in there, in that system, get in there and be coached, and I suppose maybe trying to get your body more up to speed in terms of getting more attritional with all the, I suppose, the context you're having now in the game and that.
Going back to last year and the defeat in the All-Ireland quarter-final to what was then an unheralded Tipperary team, how much of a wake-up call was it for Galway? Because certainly Galway went into that match, you know, most people expected that they'd come out of it as winners.
That was, and obviously there's a big rivalry between Galway and Tipperary as well, and even down there that day, and it was in the Gaelic grounds that day. It was disappointing the way the year, it just felt like it petered out a little bit. That we probably didn't go out swinging that evening as you should, you know, when you're being, you know, it was proper championship that evening, and we for whatever reason we didn't play well that evening, and I'd say that left a little bit of a, I suppose, a cloud over the team a little bit. But look, thankfully the guys have obviously regrouped this year. New squad of players, and as I said, a new style of play. Yeah, so you just hope it was just one of those things, man. But for whatever reason, we never really got going last year, and I suppose probably the same could be said the previous year when I was in there as well. We just never got going. But I do think there's probably a little bit of the influx of the Aarons, the Jasons, the Killian Trayers, these guys. I'd say you can't underestimate how much the importance of those guys coming in now. And then you have a few guys that are coming back into really good form. Carl Mannion's back into really, really good form. He had a couple of years there that he was plagued by injury, to be honest. Where now he looks like a guy that's really injury free, and he's just a super player, to be honest with you. To me, he's one of the top players in the country. And it'll be interesting to see how Limerick will manage him the weekend. Will he pitch up on Will O'Donoghue? and Cahill being Cahill will try and drift around the place and try to kind of jump into these half spaces to get scores away. And he's obviously a very accurate shooter.
Kevin, what does success look like for Galway this year? The obvious answer is, of course, win the All Ireland, but there's plenty of counties with that ambition. But what do you think is achievable for Galway with regards to obviously league and championship to come?
Yeah, I'd say straight up, Tom, is to win a Leinster. I'd say straight up it is a win a Leinster. To me, it looks like more than any year. I think it's a very open championship this year. I think have Kilkenny come back to the pack, I think probably have. I do think Dublin have a nice team, and I obviously would say ourselves, I think we have a nice team. But yeah, I'd say if they just settled over the summer, and if we had won a Leinster and pitched up an All Ireland semi-final, I think it would be a good year in terms of the trajectory the team is going. And I think this team is on a bit of a journey. I do think it's only starting. But yeah, I'd love for us to win a Leinster this year, to win a Bob O'Keefe, and it's obviously been a good few years since we've won one now, and I think it'd be great for the team. I think it'd be a great confidence boost for the team if we were to win a cup and put a cup on the table. Yeah, I think win a Leinster, Tom, would be hugely important for the group.
Yeah, and of course it would put you straight into an All Ireland semi-final, which is no bad thing to have coming, but plenty of ditches to jump between now and then. Saturday evening, so I suppose we've seen Limerick rotate their squad, but I think quite narrowly in regards to maybe only 24 or 25 players have really seen significant game time. Are you surprised with maybe how strong, shall we say, Limerick have lined out so far, or is it just the case of John Kiley wants to get that winning mojo back into the group after what was a very disjointed 2025?
Yeah, again, going back to, I think I spoke earlier about when I saw the first thing, the Galway team being posted. The first time I saw the Limerick team, I was like, this proper team. It was like a real statement of intent, wasn't it? It was like, yeah, we're going for this, and you could see that from the get go, and you could see there's been obviously real consistency. The teams that the guys have been picking right through it, but it's been a very strong team. Like, and again, I would say on Saturday evening, like, there'll be no holding back from Limerick's point of view. They will go as strong as they can. Yeah, like I'd say you'd probably have a good stab at it yourselves in terms of the team that'll start, but it'll be a very strong team. It'll be very close to championship team, I'd say.
Yeah. Of course, a league final is very important for Limerick this year, Kevin. Not just because it's the league final, but the fact that that Limerick have a bye in the first round of the championship. Yeah. It's going to fill in a space there.
Hugely important. Like, I was only just looking at the fixtures there before you come on. Like, it's you play this weekend. There's 2 weeks to the National League. I think Limerick go to Portugal the following couple of days after the National League final, and then you have a 3 week lead into the Cork game. So to be honest with you, it's probably perfect if that was the case. Like, just say for example Limerick don't end up in a league final, it's a different scenario altogether. Then they're obviously looking for a challenge match. They're going down that route. Whereas if you do pitch up in a league final, it's perfect. And then they go away on their trip to Portugal, and they come back and prepare for Cork. So it's probably the perfect scenario in terms of you're dividing up your training blocks. You have like 2 weeks to the National League final, 3 weeks to the Cork game, and obviously your trip to Portugal involved in that as well. So yeah, I'd say it's probably a no-brainer for Limerick that they'll go really, really hard at this. Yeah.
If Limerick do get there, it's the likelihood it'll be Cork. I mean, I don't think anyone sees Offaly beating Cork, so Limerick would have effectively back-to-back games against Cork. But I'm sure it's a problem that they'd welcome. But it's something that I know obviously you'd love to see Galway in a final from your point of view, but it's something that the general public have really enjoyed that fixture. I think it's really captured, outside of those two counties, it's really captured imagination in the last few years in the championship, obviously in particular.
Oh yeah, sure, it's brilliant. Even myself, Tom, I've been going to those couple of games for the last few years, and to see the colour and the razzmatazz around the fixtures and how supporters have bought into it it's been, to be honest with you, it's amazing, really. Like, yeah, and there's a real friendly rivalry there as well, isn't there? But yeah,
for the most part, yeah.
For the most part, yeah. But yeah. I know it's just been great. And the colour, I don't know, whatever it is about the green and the red and the colour when it comes together, when the two teams pitch up against each other, it's been brilliant. And it's turned into a real proper rivalry, isn't it? It's been very good, yeah. And what I will say is, well, both teams play what I would consider a lovely brand of hurling, both teams. And yeah, look, we'll have to wait and see after Saturday whether that'll come to pass. Yeah, it's not ideal. I suppose you're probably going to ask me, will it be ideal? It's not ideal that they're going to have to play each other twice. It's not. I'm sure they'd rather play anybody else but that team. But look, it is what it is. It's a National League title. If both teams end up in a National League final, I don't think anybody's going to play with, as they say, the handbrake on. I think both teams will obviously go for it 110%.
Yeah,
there are those out there, Kevin, who are predicting that they'll meet 6 times.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, yeah. Look, can it happen? Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm sure the Galways of this world will be thinking otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, and I'm sure if I'm a Tipperary man or if I'm Liam Cahill and they're going, like, there's nobody talking about Tipperary, which I can't fathom at all. Like, Tipperary, the All Ireland champions. They've loads of young players coming through. I've watched a couple of their under 20 games and stuff there, and they have loads of players coming through. There's going to be a few guys that are going to come onto that team again this year, I'd say. But they're a team, they're a county definitely on the upward trajectory, and they've loads of players coming through from the underage teams.
Finally, I suppose for myself, and let Matt has anything else, Kevin?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks very much, Kevin.
Just on the club front, it's Matt said at the very outset there, it's all back underway in terms of hurling. The newly reformed leagues in Limerick. I suppose we're looking at is 12 divisions. Obviously, you're in charge of Ballybrown, who are in Division 1. You've come back for another year. Obviously, you must have enjoyed it so much so last year to give it another rattle. Great buy-in from what I gather. Obviously, I know the lads involved there so well. Great buy-in. Everyone wants to go again. You know, you clicked off some great milestones last year in terms of beating Patrickswell and Camogs and getting back to, winning a knockout game as well. So I suppose the appetite is there again to go for 2026 and see what it can bring.
Yeah, 100%, Tom. Yeah. Look, I suppose, I probably echo what you said. Like, we did make great progress. It probably didn't feel like that when Doon beat us in the semi-final. I won't lie. It felt like we didn't play well on the day, and that probably was frustrating us over the winter that we didn't play well. We didn't really show up on that day, even though it was close until down 10 minutes to go. But we still didn't play well that day, so that was disappointing. Yeah, but I suppose when you look back at the group stage, did we make progress? Did the club make progress as a whole? I think we did. Yeah. Like, we pitched up in a county semi-final the first time in a good number of years, and then allied to the fact that the junior bees who've been training with us ourselves all year, they would go off and win the All Ireland. So yeah, look, there's definitely a lot of green shoots around the club, and there's an awful lot of good people going on doing an awful lot of good work in the club. But we're lucky that we've a great set of officers in the club there. And there's some great work being done, obviously, at underage level as well, that has given us the chance to have a look at these players. So yeah, no, looking forward to it. We're back a couple of weeks now on grass, as they say, and we're playing, ironically enough, we're playing Doon in the first round of the league on Sunday. So it all kicks off again this weekend. Yeah,
well, I suppose wishing you the best for that, and indeed for the year ahead. And I'm sure we'll catch you as the championship rolls around. Myself and Matt, we wouldn't be covering many league games domestically now, so we'll save ourselves for the sunnier inclines later in the summer. But look, we'll stay in touch anyway. Kevin, great to have you on it, and indeed enjoy the game on Saturday. We won't ask you for prediction, but we'll sure check in afterwards and get your thoughts on it. All right.
No bother. Thanks for having me on. Let's see you later.
Thanks very much, Kevin. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Kevin. Great to have Kevin on there. Great chat.
Absolutely, very forthright there, and man with a great knowledge of the game, and
a great involvement, of course, as well.
A big item on his CV, the performance of Ballybrown last year. Which it wasn't just that Ballybrown were winning matches, but it was the way they were winning them, and the style in which, and the way he set them up was absolutely fantastic. And I knew, and I heard during the course of the Junior B, that they had trained a good bit with the seniors, and certainly it rubbed off and reflected off. So yeah, Kevin is in, he's in to take another step in Ballybrown and more scalps.
Yeah, that's it. I suppose just from his own, we introduced him maybe as a Galway selector under Henry Shefflin a couple of years ago, but also he's been involved in the ATU Freshers this year, and I think he's involved in Galway Minors going back as well. So he's been, been very much involved at coaching in many capacities in the last few years. So very insightful and great to have him on, Matt. So that is 7 p.m. on Saturday. A win or a draw will put Limerick into a league final. We'll expect Cork to pick up the point that they need to keep up their side of the bargain. So kind of feel like Cork are already there. It's just the case from our point of view.
Cork are already there if Limerick win.
Oh yes, with the head-to-head, of course, as well. Yeah, that's true. And Cork will guarantee themselves there by winning themselves, which we would expect them to do against Offaly, already relegated. Look, that's it. So on the senior hurling front, as we mentioned, we probably won't go blow by blow, but the league's back in action at the week, domestically, of course, as we said there. So we've touched on it recent weeks. Groups of 8, basically the whole way down. I think the last 2 are groups of 6, maybe. So more or less every club involved, with a couple of second teams and third teams maybe not fully filled out, but the majority there. So split basically by your finishing position in championships last year. So you'll see some intermediate and Premier Intermediate, and some intermediate and Junior A, Premier Junior A overlapping. So it'll be interesting to see how it rolls out for the season.
Tom, I have to say about the leagues that I'm very happy with the structure. I never bought into this thing that we had for the last couple of years, Southeast and Southeast City and all that sort of jargon and all that sort of stuff.
Very lopsided, wasn't it? You'd end up with
very lopsided, and nobody knew where they stood. I think this is a very, very good, clean structure, and everybody knows where they stand. And I just appeal to the clubs to buy into it. Because a good structure has been put in place for them, and a good structure has been put in place to give them an opportunity to build for the championship, which is it's all about. Like, there are 8 in a group, there are 4 going to be the top 2 are going to be in the final, the bottom 2 are going to be relegated. So there's plenty of jeopardy in it, plenty to play for. Right throughout, and that's going right down from Division 1 to Division 12, Tom.
Yeah, look, I just hope it lasts now for a sustained period of time.
Yeah, and look, we don't want teams giving walkovers and that sort of stuff, that sort of jazz, and you know, clubs are crying out for matches. County Board now, in my opinion, have provided them with a blueprint there for plenty of matches. Go on and play them.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so that's it. That's it on the hurling front. Matt, I think we'll jump to Camogie next. We'll stay on the positive front for now anyway. We'll go to Camogie, and Limerick got a fine victory in TUS campus last weekend on home soil against Wexford to put them in a strong position to make a league final, which kind of a straight shootout with Dublin, isn't it, this weekend? So good win from Dave Deedy's side over Wexford. I believe you were at the game.
Yeah, I was at the 2 vital Camogie games over the weekend, and we mixed look. I'll talk about the minor game in a minute, which was very, very unfortunate. Definitely this performance against Wexford has been the best of David Deedy's reign. And I've seen 3 of the matches, 3 of the 4 matches that Limerick have played. And Tom, you know, it's so easy to see the demonstrable improvement that's in the team from game to game. Like, and you know, people were saying, look, down Offaly when they were beaten, when Limerick had those beaten, people were saying, sure, look, it's down and Offaly. But like, Limerick really made a statement, even though they lost against Clare in dramatic circumstances in the 3rd minute of time added on at the finish. You know, when they richly deserved a draw. And Clare were a step up, and Wexford were also a step up, Tom. But the way they clinically overcame Wexford on Saturday was so encouraging. And to see some of the young players coming up, and like, to think that there is about 7 or 8 of that team that are eligible for under 23 All-Ireland Championship, which is starting early next month. You know, and I'm talking about the likes of the Emer O'Donovans, the Donna Kenny, the Laura Southerns, Ella Hessian, Sarah O'Brien, Teresa Dorr, and there's some 1 or 2 more, all eligible for under 23. It's a young side, and they are developing rapidly. And I thought defensively they were very, very solid. The 2 midfielders I thought were outstanding. Orla Kelleher and L.B. Larkin. And Tom, what can I say about the forwards? They scored 313. I needn't say any more.
Yeah, that's some shooting. It sets them up nicely, Matt. I'm just trying to get the table
It sets
up
them
in
up
front of me here.
nicely. They're playing Dublin in Abbottstown at 2:00 on Saturday. If they draw, they're through to the final.
Win or draw. So a bit like the
Win or draw.
senior hurlers, so really, isn't it?
Because Limerick are on 9 points at the moment. Dublin are on 7. So were Limerick to win, they'd move to 10 points and they would be facing Clare in the final. Because it's fair to assume that Clare are already in the final.
Yeah,
They have
indeed.
They have beaten Wexford. They have drawn with Dublin, and they have beaten Limerick.
Limerick, sorry, yeah.
So they've Offaly and down to come. So it's very, very hard to see Clare.
Well, no, they've beaten one of them. They've Offaly or down left there.
They have. My apologies. They have Clare on 10 points.
Yeah, they're there because
they're there.
Only one team can trump them for top spot.
It is down. They have to play this weekend. I think.
Yeah, the basement side.
In Ennis, so like that's. Yeah. There's no question. It's Clare in the final, and I think Limerick, following the game that they had with Clare in the third round, they certainly would relish a clash with Clare in a league final.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And it's tantalisingly close now, Tom, and it's going to be very, very close with the Dubs on Saturday. And if Limerick continue and can maybe get that extra 5%. I think they can do it, Tom.
Yeah, well,
certainly because Dublin this year, they were relegated last year. They are not rooting up any trees.
Yeah, I hope indeed not. But 2 wins.
I hope they don't stop rooting them on Saturday.
You used the word tantalising there, Matt. Hopefully not, because by strict definition, tantalising means you fall just short. So hopefully the Dubs will be tantalisingly close, and Limerick will have got it done. As you say, a draw or a victory for Dave Deedy's side will put them in a league final, and I believe it's just decide who wins the league who goes up. So slightly different.
That's true. That's correct. There's only one place on offer, which in my opinion, because of the disparity between the groups, is a good idea.
Yes, and it puts extra, I suppose, value on the final. You know, we do have it in the men's code where once you're in the final, you're already promoted. And
because in the Danish football league finals, you're up anyway. It's the same in the Gaelic football, men's football. You're up anyway. So it's hard to know how teams approach it. Like, sure, they can say the job is done. Promotion has been the main aim. But
I know, but to win a league, that you get
win a league and win silverware, that is hugely important for any squad. But in the Camogie, there's only just one going up, which in my opinion, I like it.
Yes, it makes sense, certainly, given, as you said, the disparity between the grades. Matt, the minors, unfortunately, they were in hard luck. Go on, tell us. Break it down for us.
Oh, I don't know. We beat him in the rag. Will Tipperary ever come out of the rag? We always seem to be going there. I'm sick of going there. We've gone there twice this year at minor and once at under 16 in crucial games. We beat him in the Munster minor semi-final, and we lost there last Sunday, which puts us out of the race for the All-Ireland under minor A championship. We've one game left against Dublin, but it won't matter now because all the teams that we can overtake have the head-to-head on us. So it's and there was expectations with this team. This is the team that won the All-Ireland under 16 A championship 2 years ago. And just to give you an idea, Tom, they lost by 3 points away to Galway, lost by 3 points away to Cork, and lost by 2 points away to Tipperary. Have we any venues in Limerick?
Three.
And
the one home game, is it?
We beat Kilkenny at home. Like, we're out of the championship, Tom, with -7 after losing 3 matches. Just imagine it.
Yeah. So basically, all games have been one-score games, and Limerick have come out the wrong side in 3 of them.
On the wrong side of it, and to come out losing the Munster final by a point.
Yeah. Just that fraction off, really, isn't it? That's the problem when there's very little between these five.
But there are so many good young players coming through. And I was with David Deedy there on Sunday now, and he was running the rule over them, But they trailed at half time by 8 points to 5. It was a difficult win. You couldn't say it really favoured anybody, but it slightly favoured Tipperary in the first half, and that's why they led by 8 points to 5. Now, they led by 8 points to 5 after posting 5 points in a row. Tom, they were 8 points to 4 up, but Caitlin Ryan got a long-range free before half-time to close the gap. And we had to work terrible hard. Now, Tipperary didn't get a score until the 46th minute in the second half. And we had to work terrible hard, and we drew level with about 4 minutes to go. And it looked as if it was going to end in a draw at that stage. Tipperary got a free and they got a point in time added on. It was that close.
A draw would have kind of...
A draw would have kept our
prolonged it,
hopes alive, because if we beat Dublin, we would be in. You know,
That's really frustrating, isn't it?
So, like, Dermot Ryan and his management team have done a great job with this team over the last couple of years. Like, they've won 2 Munster under-16 championships. They've won an All-Ireland under-16, and they've been so close at minor level. Got to the All-Ireland semi-final last year when they were beaten by as good a team as ever I saw, the Kilkenny minor Camogie team. And Kilkenny are just as good this year, and we were able to beat them because it was just, it fell on the right side for us.
Yeah, there's very little between these counties, I'm noticing. Limerick, Kilkenny, Tip, Cork, Galway at times as well. There's very little between those, that 4 or 5 counties.
What I'm so pleased about, you know, I'm certainly not pleased that we're out of the championship. But, like, heretofore, we were languishing in B and languishing in Shields.
Yeah.
So here we are competing at the very...
Well, here we are, I suppose, here we are disappointed not to make an All-Ireland A semi-final.
Yeah, and it's a complete new change for us. A complete new change. Now, the game with with Dublin will be on Sunday week. I don't have a venue yet, but this weekend, the under-16s go to Galway. And it's a must-win game for them. They already lost narrowly to Kilkenny. They lost narrowly to Tipperary in the rag. And they suffered a heavy defeat, surprisingly heavy defeat to Waterford in SETU in the third round. Like, that's unusual because we had a huge win over Waterford in the Munster Minor Championship. We had a huge win over Waterford in the Munster Under-17 development last weekend. But the Under-16 seemed to suffer a heavy defeat after really putting it up to Kilkenny and putting it up to Tipperary. Now, Tipperary on form would be the strong team in it. And obviously, you know, you go to Galway. Galway are very good at every level, Tom and Camogie.
Yeah, they sure are. Yeah, and very likely to be the senior champions again this year, in my opinion. Even at this juncture, I can say that. Yeah, so that's the Camogie front. Obviously, the seniors. So leading the charge this weekend, a victory would be also important and also valuable for them to make that league final, and it'd be great.
Oh, it would be huge, Tom. Absolutely huge.
Yeah, so fingers crossed for them. Matt, we will come to the big ball. We'll go to football. We'll start with men's football. We also have the ladies, of course, in action this weekend. We've been echoing positives for the last 40 odd minutes or so. Not too many positives coming out of Mullingar last weekend, Matt. Westmeath 4-21, Limerick 3-8. And before you say anything, Matt, I'm looking at match reports the last few days. I wasn't at the game now, as other commitments. Mark McCarthy replaced Conal O'Dwyn, injured. Cormac Wolfe replaced Oran Collins, 9 minutes, injured. Tommy Childs retired at half-time, presumably or potentially an injured. Jack McCarthy replaced Sean Clancy 4 minutes into the second half, injured. Colin McSweeney replaced Tony McCarthy, 48 minutes played, injured. And Paul Maher replaced James Naughton with 13 minutes to go on what was a temporary/injury sub. So if we didn't have bad luck, Matt, I would think we'd have no luck. Am I right?
You're absolutely right, Tom. You couldn't script it. And my hat goes out, and I said it last week, Tom, when we were previewing that game in Mullingar. My hat goes out to Jimmy Lee with the hand of cards he has been dealt in this regard. Like, we thought it was bad early in the campaign, Tom, when he went out one day without 9 of his Tarleton Cup team. You know, the thing has got worse.
Yeah,
The thing has got worse.
There's very few of that team that started the Tarleton Cup final last year. Tony McCarthy, off the top of my head, Darren O'Doherty, Danny Neville, James Naughton, Peter Nash, Killian Fahey, and Tom Childs. That's about 6, is it?
That's your lot. And like how many of them, you know, went off injured? Tony Mack went off. Tommy Childs went off. James Naughton went off.
Yeah, for sure. You're losing all the experience there. Conor Lodin is only back from injury. He lasts 6 minutes.
Absolutely. And he has to go off after 4 minutes.
Yeah. Oran Collins.
Conor Lodin was working extremely hard. I met him during the campaign when he was out injured. Extremely hard to get back for the concluding stages of the league, and to think then he has to come off after 4 minutes injured again.
Yeah, I suppose the scenario that the way the game played out, Limerick conceded, I think, 2 goals early on. Then I think who got the first goal for Limerick? It was the man Shane Cross, wasn't it? Sorry, Shane Cross. Peter Nash set it up. Yeah, Nash ended up getting a goal himself. Limerick were level, just for half time, but Limerick had played with the elements, Matt, and hadn't really profited for them.
But they were still only 3 points down going down the home straight.
Yeah, when James Naughton got a goal, not long before he went off, actually. But I think it was 1-9 without reply then, basically off the back of that, and the margin completely swelled out then to what it is, and it makes the scenario. I suppose no other result went Limerick's way either at the weekend. Fermanagh picked up a win against Laois. That was maybe one that went Limerick's way in one instance. Fermanagh are now relegated, actually, because Limerick would have needed to have drawn, bizarrely, to keep them in the league, in the running. So Fermanagh are relegated. But the other result that didn't go Limerick's way was Clare. Clare lost to Wexford, so it means now that Clare
they still have. Sure looked as a mathematical.
No, they're done as far as I'm aware. Yeah, because it's the fixtures. Someone has to pick up something, isn't it? But Clare lost heavily to Wexford. Not heavily; it was 3 points in the end, but they were trailing for long spells.
And they go to Sligo, and we're depending on them for a result.
Yeah.
Now, if we still beat Fermanagh and Laois lose to Down, it'll come down to scoring difference. At the moment, we're -3. I think Laois are -28. So, sorry.
Other way around.
The other way around. Laois are -3. We're -28. So, you're looking at a 13-point turnaround. Maybe possible, Tom?
Yes. Sorry, I was just going to bring it up here. So Limerick, if Limerick will need to win anyway, it would be
anything other than a Limerick win, and that's it.
Yes, because we've lost the head-to-head on Sligo, so we need to win to jump above Sligo. We can't join them with a draw. So Limerick get to 5 points. They'll thus improve their scoring difference, which they're 14 points behind Sligo. It would have to be a very healthy win. If Sligo
Sligo have us on the head-to-head anyway.
Yeah. Well, Laois, but Limerick are 25 points behind Laois, so I don't see that being that.
But it's only a 13-point turnaround, and they're travelling to Down.
It's 25 points that needs to be turned around. Are you with me?
Laois
are -3 and Limerick are -28.
That's a 14-point turnaround, Tom.
Well, Limerick will need to win by, just say, 10.
No, if Down win by 9.
Right. That will bring Laois to -12 and Limerick win by 16.
But no.
I don't see it.
If Down win by 9, it will bring them to -12.
-3. Yeah, they're already on -3.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I see your logic, but given the way Limerick have been performing, and even the fact that Fermanagh are coming in off the back of a win, I don't see that being Limerick's road out. You know, the most likely. No, you're fine. But Westmeath and Wexford are playing in a shootout, so the winner of that will finish second, a draw enough for Westmeath to come second in their group game. So Clare, with nothing to play for, are going to Sligo, who Sligo need a win to come out of it. So,
but hold on a second now. Clare have a Munster Championship in 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's why that result really did not help Limerick, because Clare now have given up the promotion ghost because it's completely gone. So Limerick need Clare to beat Sligo in Markovich Park, and then Limerick will stay up if they beat Fermanagh in McNeville Park. I can see one of the two of those things happening. I can see Limerick rising themselves, getting a victory, but I just can't see a victory coming for Clare in Sligo, given given what happened last weekend. And Sligo put it right up to Down. They pushed them all the way, and it was I think some late heroics from Pat Haverin that saved Down's impeccable record. And at one point it looked like Limerick were about to be relegated. So
when you look back, Tom, on the campaign, could have beaten Laois. Certainly Lady Luck hasn't been on our side. Could have beaten Laois. Certainly should have got a draw with Down. You were there with me the same day.
Did Limerick snatch the result off Wexford though in was it round 3? Was that
they did, but we don't tend to look at those. But we did, I suppose.
And just to balance it, to be fair.
Yeah.
No, I did feel like up in Laois that Limerick performed admirably. Again, a bit depleted, but the fact that they led in stoppage time, it's the most frustrating part, because you take a point off Laois, bring them back to 4, and you put the point down to Limerick. Limerick are on 4, and it's a very, very different scenario.
And Laois going to Down,
Yeah, it's a very different scenario in this round. But look, it is what it is. Limerick
Down will certainly want to win every game, because as far as I know, they're going to Donegal in the opening round of the Ulster Championship.
Oh yes, yeah. And
so they will want real momentum.
For sure, yeah, and they'll want to play Sam Maguire football as well. So, getting to Division 2 will be, well, they're already in Division 2 for next season, but that'll be part of their MO. And 6 wins from 6, and the closest they came to not winning was against Limerick. So there you go. It's been a pretty bonkers Division 3, I think it's fair to say. But anyway, it's 2 p.m. on Sunday, McNeville Park. Limerick will need the support to get over that line, seeking to beat Fermanagh. And hopefully, like the last time they played Fermanagh, they'll be celebrating. It was promotion out of Division 3 the last time they played Fermanagh. That was at the Gaelic Grounds in 2023. So hopefully...
And we won that evening 116 to 14 points. It was a comprehensive win.
Something similar wouldn't go amiss on Sunday afternoon. But let's see what sort of squad Limerick have available to them after that. Basically, every single sub was an injury sub, it would look like, from last weekend. So... let's see how they'll all fare out on the treatment table.
Yeah, it's said Limerick are down to the bare bones at this stage. Unfortunately,
Sure.
You have the like of Bob Childs is out for a number of weeks. We know already about Josh Ryan. We know about Dara O'Hagan, Dara Murray. The Shukru brothers are both all out long term.
Yeah, Barry Coleman hasn't been seen for the last couple of games.
Barry Coleman has been out for the last couple of games. Emmett Richter has only played about 10 minutes football in the league. Tom, you could not script it. You just could not script it.
Yeah, I wonder what's the mood, in the camp. It can't be good now after all this. But look, they still have the possibility.
If it's the right man in the right place for raising lifting a team, I think Jimmy is your man.
Okay, well, let's see what he can what they can muster at the weekend. So if Sligo pick up any form of results, that will be that, and Limerick will go down. So Limerick need a Clare win and a Limerick win. That's the two results needed to get out of jail, or else a huge point swing over Laois.
Down beat Laois by 30 points.
Limerick win by 1. That'll do fine. Okay. The Limerick 20s, Matt, at football, they got the championship underway last weekend, and more head scratching, I think it's fair to say. It was a very, very disappointing performance, a very, very disappointing result. I hadn't done much research. I should have. I can't remember the last time we lost to Waterford in 20s or 21s football. It seems like it's been a while. But Waterford raced away. They got 2 goals in stoppage time to put them, was it 10 or 11 ahead for finish.
2022, Tom, we lost them, or 2021.
I think it's even before that, Matt. They've only won 2 games in the last 5 years, and both of them were against Clare up until now. So it's even before COVID, I think. So, but anyway, someone
it could be 2019. I've dug it out anyway, but I can't remember it. But
yeah, but not good. I think it's fair to say. I know I was there and you weren't, but this is a big blow to the Limerick under-20s right out of the gate.
Yeah, because as I say, I wasn't there. I was at the Camogie game, so maybe you can fill us in on what your thoughts on it. Now, I know speaking to you, they weren't, you were a bit depressed about the whole thing.
That's one way of putting it. Yeah, look, it was...
Well, you texted me after the game and you weren't,
No, I wasn't best pleased because, we, with no disrespect to Waterford, these are games Limerick, year in, year out, in fairness to them, seem to win, and certainly if we're not winning them, we're very, very competitive. And, if you listen to the manager afterwards, John O'Grady, he too was not impressed by a lot of things. The discipline wasn't great. They had a man sent off. They had 6 yellows. They gave away a penalty. Turned the ball over way too easy, Matt, for this level. And I think they were, John was reflecting on, I suppose, the build-up had been good in terms of other challenge games. The training had been good. The preparations, they had pulled out all the stops, as you'd imagine. And for some reason, it did not happen on the day,
Waterford, on paper, they didn't look too bad, Tom.
No, we were familiar. We looked at the team last week on this podcast, and we were happy enough with it. They were 6 down at halftime, 10 points to 4 against the wind, and you kind of felt right. Limerick will exploit that breeze in the second half. Not really. They only scored was a 2-3 in the second half. Only got 1 2-pointer, whereas Waterford had kicked 3 in the first half. And then after getting the first goal, I'm trying to remember who scored it now off the top of my head. But after getting the first goal to cut it back from 6 points down to 3, they conceded a very poor goal, the second one, and it unravelled pretty quickly from there. And even in stoppage time, near enough stoppage time, Limerick got a goal and a 2-pointer, basically back-to-back plays, back to 3 points actually. And they felt,
back
wow,
to 3 points, yeah.
They felt, wow, there could be something on here. They might it might be force a 2-pointer, maybe work another goal. They had a goal chance. Just tried to be palmed to the net, wasn't connected with well. Keeper caught it, Waterford countered, got a goal, and I think maybe more or less from the next play got the other goal. So maybe the scoreline...
That probably starts it, Tom.
A little bit, but Limerick probably didn't deserve anything either, if you know what I mean. If Limerick
I know, and certainly the statistics that you dished out there at the outset of this segment of the conversation about the 20s, it's alarming. Now I'm going to see them on Saturday. They're playing Tipperary and New Inn, and you'd hope that you'd get a kick. And I'm looking for something like we got last year, Tom. We were well beaten in the first round in McNeville Park, you will recall, by Tipperary.
Yes.
The same evening, Waterford went to Milltown Malbay, I think, and had a good win over Clare. And then we went to Dungarvan, not to the Fraher Field, mind you, to Dungarvan GAA the following Saturday, and we beat Waterford. I'd be hoping that we would get something like that this weekend, that we'd get a kickback, and that, we'll be in the hunt going down the final game against Clare and Mount Collins the following week. But we've had to settle for the John Cairns Cup final for the last 2 years. Now, the John Cairns Cup final is between the two teams that finish bottom of phase 1. The two teams that finish top advance to phase 2, where they will meet Cork and Kerry. But the two bottom teams, now we've met Waterford in the final for the last 2 years in Mallow, and we've beaten them both years. But just talking to the connections last year, whilst they were delighted to win on the night of the John Cairns Cup final, I was there for the last couple of years, both years.
Yeah, as was I. Yeah,
there was a level of disappointment, and I'd say you detected it as well, Tom, particularly among the mentors, that they hadn't got a chance to, go into phase 2, and which in itself is laudable. But the chances of getting into phase 2 this year will quickly evaporate if you don't beat Tipperary.
Yeah, they're gone. If by my reckoning, if they don't beat Tipperary,
they're gone, Tom. Yeah, gone.
Yeah, they will be gone, and they're already under pressure because of that scoring difference. because that could be the route back in, if everyone was to beat everyone. But like their scoring difference is already taking a bit of a hammering. So look, it's disappointing. Let's hope that John and the co can rouse them and get them back on track. But you could see a much changed Limerick team if indeed that's
absolutely. And John himself, and and his backroom team, they form a strong backroom team, in my view, very capable backroom team. But like as I said, Tom, I wasn't at the game now, but the statistics that you dished out there at the beginning, in my view, are alarming.
Yeah. Limerick actually, did they only concede 4-1 in the second half? But obviously, the 4 is the
4 goals, Tom.
That's the really alarming part of that,
Goals win matches.
Yeah, they do indeed. Yeah, and the credit to Waterford. I was actually looking there. I can't find the last time. Someone might point it out. The last time Limerick lost to Waterford in 20s or 21s football. It's going back a while anyway. I don't think it's happened in the last 15 years or so. So it's a result.
Waterford did have 6 or 7 of the team from last year.
They did, yeah, and a lot of those were prominent actually, yeah, and were the reason that they lifted it. But anyway, it's new win.
Yeah, like the year we won the Munster Championship in the year 2000, we beat Waterford in the final, and they came back. Was it the year after or 2 years after, and won the Munster Championship?
Yeah, so there is pedigree at times in Waterford, but it hasn't always shown itself. But look, new win on Saturday, that will tell the tale. Tipperary.
Yeah, Tom, I'll be able to give a more informed view certainly next week on it.
Tipperary and Clare.
I hope we'll be looking at a win.
Yeah, Tipperary and Clare. I'm trying to recall who won that game last weekend. Tipperary got the win, I think, did they?
No, Clare won.
Clare did, sorry. Clare won.
So they go to Limerick Bryan this weekend. So it's the second round. The second round is game against between first round winners and first round losers.
The way it's worked out, yeah. So look, Limerick will need to win the two games.
They need to win the two. It's a simple permutation. It's a simple equation, Simple.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that over the weekend from New Inn. Matt, ladies football, they're back in action at the weekend. This weekend coming, we're keeping all the kind of stuff we're not overly positive about at the minute till near the end of the pod, unfortunately. But look, the ladies, they put in an admirable performance against Clare, I think, last time out, isn't it?
They've had put in 2 admirable performances against both Louth.
It's the result now is what they're seeking, really, isn't it?
Against Clare and John Lynch, obviously, after the games against Antrim and Laois, when we got a bit of a trouncing in both games, like he has restructured the defence and certainly Limerick are becoming harder to beat, which is laudable in itself. Like we're within 4 points of Clare, and Clare will be playing in the Intermediate Championship, Tom. So that wasn't a bad benchmark, but. Look, Tom, going to Down are still in with a chance of promotion. You've got to be pragmatic about it, and we've got to be upfront about it. I don't think Limerick will win, and if they don't, they're relegated. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
and
that's it. So.
With so many having left the panel, Tom, it may not be the worst thing that will happen. For the simple reason that you go back down to Division 4 and you rebuild from the bottom up. That's what we have done before, and it looks as if we're staring at having to do it again. And I saw quite a bit of ladies football in the county last year. Club matches. Went to whenever I could. There was a decent standard right up to the final. I saw a semi-final, I saw a final, I saw a couple of group games. I saw the league final, and but it's this thing like that. At the expense of being repetitive, Tom, it's the number of players that have left the panel. Like 12 players. There were frontline players last year for different reasons are not available.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
And opting out and all the rest of it. So yeah, it's quite stark when you look at it that way. Yeah, Limerick have,
and like they're rebuilding. And as I say, I thought there were green shoots in the last 2 games.
Right.
I thought that they were relatively decent performances, because you must remember we pushed Louth all the way. Louth are top of the table, Tom.
They are. If they win at the weekend, they're into the league final. So
Yeah.
they might even be in it, even if they don't win. But it's it's been a tough.
We made them work for the full 60 minutes, and we're right in it with about 10 minutes to go.
Yeah,
And
it's been a tough 5 rounds though for Limerick. It's fair to say.
But as I said, John Lynch, who was thrown in at the deep end after the game away for Roscommon when Patrick O'Connor stepped down, and obviously needed a bit of time, but looks to have is building from the back anyway, and making his team hard to beat, which is the first thing that you do.
Yeah, shout out to defence, as they say. So remind us, Matt, that fixture in the venue the weekend.
It's on Sunday in Leitrim Fontenoys at 1 p.m.
Leitrim Fontenoys at 1 p.m. Okay, so best wishes to John and the ladies, and a win would be a huge result. But look, we're hoping for another decent performance, and it'll set them up then for the final round before the Munster B Championship as well in the late spring. So let's see. We'll keep an eye on this as it develops, but certainly they've shown something in the last few weeks, the last few outings, to give a bit of hope for rounds 6 and 7. Matt, anything else for us on our agenda this week?
I was a bit alarmed during the week. You probably read it as well as I read it. That the president of the elect of the GAA would like to see integration put back to 2034, I think he said, would be ideal.
Yeah, that's the headline figure, which is 7-8 years away. So
I think there should be news for that gentleman straight away. That as far as I know, the ladies football, Camogie, GPA are all geared up for 2027, and I understand that there are plans in place for the congresses of 2027 and an all-encompassing congress in 2028.
Right.
So why this comes out after the election, I don't know, but I think that gentleman should have a rethink.
But how likely is it that 27 will be D-Day? It's, to me, it seems like this has just been sitting here.
It has to be made happen.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. As we speak now, Limerick are playing Galway in a vital under-16 All-Ireland game on Sunday. There is still no venue for it. Cork are playing Galway in the Senior Camogie Championship or Senior Camogie League, a vital game, no venue for it. Here at 6 o'clock, 6:30 on a Wednesday evening. Tom, it's a no-brainer. Integration is and must.
Yeah,
I was most disappointed and angry, and hope over the course of his term have an opportunity to tell him that.
Right. Well, let's see. Yeah, I hadn't been aware of it now, Matt. After catching me a little bit on the hop, I'm
sorry, Tom, but I
no,
read
no,
it,
you're fine. Absolutely.
Where he pinpointed 34 as being the ideal to have a proper integration. Now, I know there are going to be teething problems.
Yes.
But putting back 2027, Mrs. McAleese has done an excellent job in consulting with all these groups, and she's spent 2 years consulting widely with all the groups. And now is the time for action, and now is the time for the coming together. And it can't happen soon enough, Tom. Like we see the one club concept around the country working very, very well. Very, very well. So why not go the full hog?
Yeah, for sure. And it's the grassroots is where the movement really started, wasn't it? So let's see how it develops. But Matt, for this week, for episode 371, I must thank you as always for your great company and great discussion. We'll keep an eye on the 4 Limerick adult teams and indeed some of the other underage teams that are in action over the weekend. And hopefully we'll be a little bit more cheery next week with a couple more green and white victories. But for now, signing